Hi there, and it's the audience. So hi there, and it's can you hear me now? I think the audio was connecting for you.
Yes, can you?
Yes? Okay, so how are you? Is everything okay?
Yeah, very much. Okay.
All right, great. That's good to know. Danitza, we're going to do the following, please, Danitza. We have a common lesson that we covered before, insurance. Again, it can be short, but it has a very interesting part, Danitza, that is related to the special cases. You mentioned something about it before, but I want to verify that it is clear for you. All right, so I'm going to go in the first part very rapidly. We know that terms are right nouns that come from verbs adding ing. We can use them as subjects, objects, right? And as objects, they can be after verbs and after prepositions, right? Subjects as learning English is very easy, running is my favorite activity. After some verbs such as enjoy, discuss, like, mind, suggest, recommend, right? That's the second rule. Objects after certain verbs, they have to be influent. After special phrases, we also covered that before, right? To be busy, can stand, can help, feel like. They're followed by gerunds and after prepositions. Okay, we covered these lessons, I believe, 3 times already, right? Infinitive gerunds, infinitive gerunds. That's why I'm not going to go deeper over there. Unless you have questions about that, you're going to let me know. Okay, but that's what we have to remember. After all prepositions such as with, without, at, in, on, by, after, before, against, for, we already mentioned that, in, of, and so on and so forth, we have to use a gerund, right? That's a general rule, and that rule is not going to be broken, all right? Now, that's what we know. I wanted to mention that just as part of the very short, perhaps even, all right, quick review that I'm giving you. But now this is a special. But before, no, actually, let's continue. You're going to let me know, right, any questions that you get. But from here, actually, before going there, I'm going to ask you some questions. You mentioned, right, that there are some verbs that can be followed by gerunds, then only infinitives, sometimes both, right, and the meaning is the same. For example, with like, you can have a very small difference. Some people say grammatically speaking, but in general, it's good if you say I like to eat or I like eating, right? It's going to be good in both ways. So with some verbs, we can use both gerunds and infinitives. But here we have to cover the possibility of using a gerund or infinitive, but when the meaning is different. What do you know about those verbs, Anissa, and what can you tell me about that?
I know that there are three verbs that have different meanings. Those I remember, stop and forget, forget. And that's because when you use infinitives, usually with those, you are trying to show an order, something like that. Some action happens, or some action happen after another course, or in order to perform another action.
Okay, so if I ask you using forget, all right, give me 2 examples, please, with forget. Give me one example with forget using infinitive and one using gerund, and let's understand what's the difference between those 2 examples. Okay, so what do you say? What examples come to your mind, that is?
Mm, I can say I forget. Mm, I for,
And also you have to try to choose right the best option in tense, because if you say only forget, right, it has to be a habit or a routine.
yes. Yeah. Mm, I forgot meeting him last summer, something like that.
That
Um,
and it is correct, but it depends what's the meaning that you want to keep. And one with infinitive, and then we're going to analyze if it is correct.
the other could be I forgot to meet her at lunch.
All right, good. I believe that you got it because of the type of examples you're giving. I believe that it is clear. But now let's clarify. What's the meaning? And we can use right the same idea with different thing. What's the difference between I'm going to change some things of your example, Danisa, but what's the difference between I forgot meeting him, let's say last week, and I forgot to meet him last week? Okay, using the same word, sorry, but changing only the gerund and infinitive. So what is the meaning of the two different ideas over there? And so what's going to be the difference?
With infinitive, you, I know, when you're expressing that the event happened in the past, but you did not remember, you just for mm, got just forgot the situation there. That was.
The last part was not clear. What you were saying was perfect, right? When we use gerund, is something that happens, that actually happens, but we don't remember that it happened. Right? So it's perfect, right? You can say, I forgot, right, I don't know, right, practicing for today, but not because you forgot to practice. It's just that you practiced, but you forgot that you did it, right? Because again, you are with a lot of things, but good. And what about infinity? Perhaps you explained that in the last part, but I couldn't understand the last part. What then is what's the purpose of the infinity in that case?
Mm, in this case, the event did not happen because you really forgot to meet him.
Okay, yes, there you go. Very simple. And you know that great. Again, if you get that, they are very, very similar, right? The words that we have over here. So let's take a look at that, Danis. I believe that again, this is going to be short because I can see that you know it. But we're going to take a look at this and we're going to read just because I believe that they are worth remembering. And remember, right, it's very similar to forget, and we have this. So actually, let's read please as a way of practicing before our writing practice. Then it's electric remember plus gerund and remember plus infinitive.
Okay, I remember last year. This is when you remember something that has happened in the past. You have a memory of it, like being able to see a movie of it in your head. I remember going to the beach when I was a child. I have a memory of going to the beach. He remembers closing the door. He has a memory of closing the door. I remember to think. This is when you think of something that you need to do. And usually you then do the thing. I remember to buy milk. I was walking home and the idea that I needed milk came into my head. So I bought it. I bought something. Some. She remembered to send a card to her grandmother.
Right. So it's the same, right? Practically the same. Something that happened with ing, something that didn't happen at that moment of remembering that thing, but of course the person is going to do it because he got to remember. But of course it depends if it's affirmative or negative, right? But in this case, remember in terms of meaning is the opposite of forget. But the idea that both, right, carry is very similar, if not the same, right? I'm going to keep going and you're going to ask me the questions. But again, if you know forget, and this is something that you, right, explained to me, so we're not going to read this, they are the same, right? Forget and remember, both can be used with gerunds or infinitives, but again, the meaning changes, right? Try is another one. Let's read this, please.
Right? Pleasure. This is when you do something as an experiment. The thing you do is not difficult, but you want to see if doing it will have a result that you want. I want to stop smoking, so I try using nicotine patches. Using nicotine patches is easy, but I want to know if it will help me to stop smoking. And she tried eating up chocolate, but it didn't help her lose weight. It was easy for her to give up chocolate. She gave it up to see if it will help her lose weight, but it didn't. Try to infinity. Try to stick infinity. And this is when the thing you do itself is difficult, and the present tense of questions, it means you might not succeed in doing it. In the past tense, it means that you made an effort to do the thing, but you did not succeed. I carry to the suitcase, but it looks too heavy for me. She tried to catch the bus, but she couldn't run fast enough.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now, again, this is also important. Here, of course, the meaning is not as similar as we forget and remember, but it is also kind of common, but again, it has to be clear. I don't know first if you have any questions, because again, I know that this has to be short and it is going to be short, but I want to work on some exercises with this. We try. But do you have any questions, Anita? Let me know, please.
Yes, I don't understand the idea of try plus two plus infinity. I mean, when it says when the thing you do itself is difficult and it means you might not succeed, that's always the context you use. Yes.
Yeah, kind of, yes, because when you try to do something, is because you are not sure if you're going to get to do it, right? You know, when you are not sure about something, and that's very common. Mainly, right? I would say that in general, right? People say, "Yeah, I'm going to try to do it," right? Because you say, "I don't know," and even it's because sometimes you don't want to. All right, so it's going to be difficult, or you don't want to. That's going to be the context. All right. So again, and if you make a comparison, a direct comparison, try is something like, right? For example, I'm working right on a master's that is online, and I have to take some tests online as well. And they have cameras around me, and they say, right, if you get to have any problems, they give me a lot of options to contact them because I have to let them know immediately. For example, my camera is not working, something like that. Right, so I can say you have to try first calling them by using this number. Then you have to try, right, by writing them or writing them, right, use this email, right? So when you have options, we use ing, right? You try doing something to get something specific. But again, try to do something is when it's difficult, but again, you want to try. You want to give it a try. All right. So again, if you see that in, I don't know, right, the test, you know, you want to get into Harvard, okay? You want to be a Harvard student. You know that exam is very difficult. You've studied a lot, but you don't feel prepared, right? But you say, I'm going to try to I'm going to try to pass the test. not because you are sure that you're going to pass, right? Because if you're sure, you won't say that. But if you're unsure of your abilities, of your skills, of your knowledge, you can say, I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to pass the test. If I pass it, that's great. If not, well, I knew that I was not ready, so I'm going to get even more ready. So in the next term, I'm going to be better prepared. Okay, so again, I wanted to clarify that. So the context is that. Or even, right, when you don't want to, I also say that because you say, hey, let's go to the party, right? It's going to be great. And you say, I have many things to do, but you don't want to, right? And you say, okay, I'm going to try to go. All right. So again, it's not difficult in that sense, but you say that because you want to convince yourself you don't feel like going. So you say you're going to try to go. In the sense, I'm going to see at last moment, right? I convince myself to go. So that's it. Okay. But after that explanation, I don't know if you have questions about a try, then so let me know, please.
No, I don't have questions.
All right. Good. So let's see. We're going to keep going actually, and then if we don't have anything else that is different, we're only going to work on examples with try, and that's it. But you mentioned this, but let's read this as well, please.
I stop pleasure. When we stop doing something, it means the verb in general is the thing that we stop. It can mean stop forever or stop at that moment. I stopped working when I was expecting a baby. Working is the thing I stopped. My grandmother stopped driving when she was 85. Driving is the thing she stopped. My boss came into the room, so I stopped browsing the internet. There was a fire alarm, so I stopped eating and went outside. I stopped to stood pleasant minute. In this case, we stop something else in order to do the verb in infinitive. I stopped to eat lunch. I stopped something else when we were in a restaurant because I wanted to eat lunch. She was shopping and she stopped to get a cup of coffee. She stopped shopping because she wanted to get a cup of coffee.
Okay, thank you. Right. So I believe that this is also very simple, right? The idea of stop doing something, right? I don't know, right, for the rest of the time you're alive forever, and stop to do something, it means that you stop, right, doing something else in order to do a different activity, right? So again, if you have any questions about stop, please let me know, but those are the ones that we're going to take a look at. Okay, remember, forget, try, and stop. The only one I want to practice before going again to the practice with semicolon this time is with try. Again, well, actually, you let me know, right? But please let's go to the document next, and we're going to write two examples with try plus gerund and two examples with try plus infinitive. Okay, they can be in different tenses, of course. It's up to you. So you decide that. But your context has to be clear. Okay, your examples have to be rich in terms of context, so I can see and say, okay, yes, it is clear why she's using gerund and it's perfect, and it's clear why she's using infinitive and it's perfect. Okay, of course, if not, I'm going to ask some extra questions, but that's the idea, that's the condition. Okay, two with try plus gerund, two with try plus infinitive, with a rich context, sorry, that makes me understand why we're using those. I don't know if you have any questions to go there, then.
No, I don't have questions.
Okay, so let's do it, please. Let's do it in the document. Again, let's try to always play with the time. It's 9:36. So for these ones, we're going to have until 9:40. Okay, we're going to see how much you were able to work in those 4 minutes. But let's begin then, please. I'll let you know when it's time.
Okay.
Okay, it is already time, but it was short. I'm going to see how you're doing, and according to that, we continue. All right, we're still with the first ideas. Let's keep going, please. We're not going to have a lot of time to work on the writing. Okay, so in 3 more minutes, okay, let's have 3 more minutes. Let's try to work on as many ideas as we can, and then we continue. All right, try to have at least one with a gerund, one with infinitive, and then if we have the time, the other two. All right, we check once again in 3 minutes, please.
Okay, this. Yes, stop.
You're there? All right. Great. Let me check. I didn't want to interrupt because I just want you to have at least those elements. So let's read please those examples. And inside, I think they're going to be enough. And well, we're going to continue working, but let's read please to see if they are working good.
Okay. I was wondering if they have interest in being part of the club, so I tried to invite them. I will try to meet them this weekend, but lately I have been very busy.
All right. Now let's analyze. Okay, let's analyze the in the two cases is going to be correct. Also, we're going to check some punctuation marks. In general, I believe it's very good. All right. But now, why are you using the infinitive in the first case? I mean, so what's the justification that you have for that one? Because in the two cases you're using, right?
That's right. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, yes, that's why not, because you have to do it infinite. And I want to see which one is going to be better.
So here I need to use I mean I try inviting it here, right? So
Okay.
ni siquiera puedo ver.
Okay. Okay. Yes, so that's something that you did in order to see if they are going to show some interest, right, in being part of the club that you're talking about, right? So if that's the case, I believe it is better. It is not showing, but I believe that probably if it's yellow, it's just a suggestion in terms of vocab, all right? But now I believe it is better. Now, here we have something interesting, all right? It's not going to be only they have interest, all right? Because it is better to say they are interested in being, okay? So it's better you say these two things here than it's. I was wondering if they are interested in being part of the club. Okay, that's the best option. But if you want to use interest as something that is a noun, and with have, it's better if you say an interest. Okay, so again, here you can say if they have an interest in being, but again, this is still not that natural. It is good, grammatically acceptable, and it's understandable, but again, people, all right, native English speakers, they're not going to say that. Instead of that, it's more likely that they will say if they are interested. Okay,
Yes.
interested. That's more natural. That's more common. Okay, but those are the two corrections. If you only have interests like that, it's not good. Okay, an interest, or if they are interested in something. Okay, but then the rest is good. But you see that right? You see why in this case you say I tried inviting them and not I tried to invite them. Because if you say I tried to invite them, it's like I'm going to try to do it, but I don't know if it's going to be possible because it is hard to invite them because of a certain way, because you don't like them, because they have bodyguards and you cannot approach them, right? You have a difficulty. You have a physical or an emotional or a psychological limit that make you say, I don't know, but I'm going to try to do it, right? But in this case, it's not a difficulty. It's an attempt, right? You are going to try something, right? And that's going to be one way of doing it. If it's an option, then the challenge is good. But I wanted to clarify that. Also remember, this was corrected. I know that you realized and it was a little mistake, but also let's have it like that. Okay, that's for the first one. For the other one, right? I'll try to meet them this weekend, but lately, and remember, this is good, but my piece of advice over here is going to be this one. Okay, you want to be very formal in terms of writing. Lately is going to be an introductory phrase, but also lately right is going to be an interrupter in this case. So to have commas sorry, surrounding your interrupter is going to be even better. If you don't have it, it's okay because this comma is optional in this case. But I'm giving you this idea so that if you keep it, it's always going to be more formal. But that's it. I'll try to meet them because you'll see if it is possible or not. It doesn't depend on you, right? So it's going to be something that you see. But that's it. You wanted to say something. Let me know, please.
So here I need three commas, three commas.
Yes. Of course, we have to try to avoid using a lot of commas. Now it is acceptable, and it's still something that the reader can get. And it's good because all of the commas are justified. The first one is because of the fanboy and the new complete idea. These two commas are because we're considering this lately at the same time an introductory phrase, but also an interrupter that is interrupting the idea between but and have been. I have been. Why? Because the best place to use lately, remember, is not at the beginning, it is at the end, right? Because it's a time expression. So if you don't want to use those commas and you believe that it can cause confusion to the reader, you can say, but I have been very busy lately. Okay, and if you do it in that way, you don't have to use the two commas around lately. Okay, but now it's just because it is a place where it doesn't belong. But again, at the same time, is fulfilling two different roles. It's the introductory phrase of that idea, but it's the interrupter of the fanboy and the complete idea. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. So I think we're good. I wanted to practice that because it's important that we don't have a lot of verbs, as you said, that are going to be followed by gerunds or infinitives, and they have different meanings. In this case, these are the ones we have. They're not hard to understand, but sometimes when we are trying to use them in a specific context, it can get harder. All right, but I believe that you did good. Now, let's go to our practice related to semicolon. But before going even to the presentation, right, you made a review. I don't know, what can you tell me about semicolon, Anissa? When do you use semicolon, or what do you remember about semicolons?
Mm, um, well, I know that you can use semicolon when you want to join to complete ideas, like an independent class, independent classes.
All right.
And also, it can help you when you are trying to show several items, but those items are like compost. Your example was about, yeah, in your slashes, you have an example with, I don't know, an state and I suppose a specific city. So yes, they were very obvious how Silicon could help you. And mm, when you don't want to use commas, all of the commas, when you want to use fanboys or you need to use fanboys and you can help your paragraph with semicolon. I think those.
Okay, good. I got everything except for the last one. It's not that clear for me. One more time, the last one, please. The first ones I agree totally, all right, and they seem to be clear. But the last one more time, please. How can you explain that once again?
Mm, well, you can in your paragraph have commas already, and you want to introduce you know, a fanboy could be, and you can use them. I'm not sure. I take a note.
Yeah, It is good, but remember also you can use the explanation that I mentioned before related to lately, right? And mainly it's going to depend on that, Denise, because actually the fanboy requires a comma. But when do we use a semicolon with a fanboy, right? As you're saying, when we are already using commas before or after the fanboy, and it can produce confusion, right? If you know that your sentence or paragraph is going to be confusing because you have an introductory phrase with a comma, you have an interrupter with two commas, you have the last clarification with a comma, then you have a fanboy with a comma, then with the fanboy you're starting with an introductory phrase with two commas, then you continue like so comma 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 comma, right? That's going to be confusing. So a piece of advice over there is to use semicolon with the fanboy. With the interrupters, we're going to see that later on, to use instead of commas, dashes, right? The idea in English is to avoid the overusage of comma. Not every time it is going to be possible, of course, but if you can play with all the resources that you got, including semicolons, colons, and dashes, it's going to be way more richer in terms of how it looks and how clear, even, all right, visually speaking, your message is going to be. All right, and when you read again a paragraph that is formed in that way, it's going to be way more accessible. Okay, not only again to the understanding, but also to how clear the structure it is. We know when the first idea gets to finish, when the second idea starts. Okay, so but again, I'm sorry, I'm going there because you can give that explanation. You are going to use semicolon with a fanboy only if you see that the context around it is already using commas and it can produce confusion to the reader. That's going to be the main idea. All right, but I believe that it is good. So that's great. Let's keep a look then, Danitza. I believe that again, you know it because you were able to explain that, and that's great. Just a short review, and we work on examples for this. All right. Again, try to let it flow. As I told you at the beginning, it's going to be slow, very slow, and even slower than before. But it has to be like that in order to be more and more natural. So let's go to semicolon first. Okay, so you said it, right? Two independent clauses. I can say again without complication, two complete ideas divided by a semicolon. It's impossible to use a comma here unless you use a fanboy, right? But here you can also use a period. But if you see that they are in equal positions, it is good to use a semicolon, right? I'm not going to add anything else because this is simple. This one also is very simple. We're also dividing right to complete ideas, but we're using right adverbs, right, or transitional words or phrases to create a connection, to create a sequence, right, between the previous idea and the following one, so that we can say that it is adding information, that it is contrasting, conceding, that it is a sequence, that it is the result of something, and so on and so forth, right? It is going to add something else we don't have here in the previous one. Of course, if we don't have an adverb or transitional word or phrase, we can only see that there is a logical connection between them, right? But if you have this, you are creating a very, very specific connection between the previous idea and the next one, right? So in that case, we can also use period, sorry, or semicolon. And again, your decision is going to be made on most of the time that it's not going to be even according to this, to how close they are and so on. No, it's going to be how visually speaking it is going to help your paragraph be clearer or not. That's mainly going to be your decision on if you use semicolon or period in most of the cases. All right, because it's not bad. In all of the cases, I would say it is going to be to use one of those two because they can be in, if I'm not wrong, in almost all of the cases except for the list of items, they are interchangeable. Of course, the period is stronger, but they are going to be interchangeable. All right, the meaning is not going to change. Just visually speaking, it is going to affect, of course, the river. All right. Then this is what you said, right? The common one is you have the state and the city. But here I give you some other examples, right? You can see I always enjoy traveling with my friends, family, and pets. Semicolon, listening to rock, jazz, and blues music. Semicolon, and writing suspense, horror, and fictional books. Right? That's a complex list of items in which inside each item I have other sub items that I have to divide with a comma. But of course, those items they have to be divided with semicolons, right? That's also very interesting. And the last one, the one that you said, with families. But again, only with coordinated conjunctions when you see that the commas before and afterwards can create confusion. But again, if you follow this logic, they are lengthy. Okay, you're going to do it. But that's pretty much it. I don't know if you have any questions about the last explanation and this clarification so that we can write some ideas now, Danita. Let me know, please.
Por José Luis. Está bien. No, I don't have.
Yes, it is okay?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm very sick now, I'm dying, so sorry because of that. Let's do it then, please, Danita. Just one example per way of using the semicolon. One, using it as divided to complete ideas, two independent clauses, just like that, simple. The other one, at the same, but you use a transitional word or phrase in the middle, and a verb could be. The third one, complex list of items, and the fourth one, dividing two complete ideas also with a semicolon and a fanboy, but you have complex ideas that are using commas already. That's it. Let's do it, please. Let's try to work on this. Again, I'm going to give you the time that is going to be 5 to 6 minutes. But if you get to finish before, please let me know. All right? I'll let you know when it's time, please.
Okay.
All right, good. Let's do it, please. I'm going to drink some water. right, let's try to work on at least a couple more examples. All right, besides that one more, and if we can, the three, it's going to be perfect. All right, we're going to have some extra time. Again, we have at least, because of the time, until 10:15. But if you can get to finish it and it's until 10:13 more or less, that's going to be good, or even before. Okay, so I give you the feedback and we finish that. All right, so let's try to do it, please. All right, so we're going to see what we got. And again, we're going to try to finish with that. All right, finish that idea, please, Anitza, and we will read everything as you finish that last one. All right, good. Now the last one is going to be all right for you to complete, and also the next class you're going to show me. I was taking a look at this. This is good. So remember, please now, Denise, we're still going to use this. The colors that we used, in this case, you're using green for introductory phrases, it seems, all right? And then you are using this purple highlighting for, no, this is for the complete idea in the next idea, so. And this purple, yes, you're using purple for interrupters, okay? So if you find those or any of these rules with the commas over here, you're going to color them, to highlight them, also the above for the next class. Okay, this one, it has to be with the same colors. But first, read your three ideas, and I'm going to give the corrections, please.
Okay. I felt secure about his abilities, so no one could make him doubt about it. I also said that I saw his reaction. As a consequence, I decided to turn him down. In order to help myself with imposter syndrome, I started to gain more knowledge in algebra, mathematics, Python programming, and Bayesian theories. Probability.
Thank you very much. Now, again, in general, as I will say, right, because in your case it is like that, it is great. But let's see the details, all right? Let's take a look at the details. And again, I'm going to do what you do it. Are you copying it? Okay, I'm copying it also as well. So, in the first part, it seems to be great. Now, only one thing, secured can be sometimes be a synonym of sure, positive, confident, but not in this context. Okay, when you say he felt secured, to say that you secure something in English is going to be, for example, okay, this example, right? Imagine that you have hostages, right? Do you know what a hostage is? If they are robbing the bank, they have hostages, right?
Oh yeah, yes. Okay.
Okay. Now, if they have a special team to rescue the hostages, anytime the special team gets a person and they get the person, they can say, we secured the hostage. Okay, in that way, they are going to use secure something to be sure that now it's part of something else, that you secure it. All right. So in this case, it's not going to work like this. It is better if you say, sure, he felt sure about his abilities, he felt positive about his abilities, or he felt confident about his abilities. Exactly. But I'm going to write the three of them. All right. Sure. And what was the other one that I said? I forgot. Positive. All right. And confident. All right. There you go. Okay, but these ones work here because the meaning that they give is, if not the same, it's very, very similar. Okay, he felt sure, positive, confident. Okay, that's my best alternative. Then about his abilities, semicolon, no one could make him doubt about it. All right, and here actually the opposite. We're not going to use this preposition. All right, why they are doing that? Doubt it. Okay, it is better if you directly connect this verb with the object. Okay, so we're not going to doubt about something specifically. In this case, it is going to be that you doubt something. Okay, so no one could make him doubt it. Okay, doubt the following idea. All right, and again, that's just cultural, contextual. Yeah, tell me, Anita.
There is another context in which I could use doubt about something.
Sometimes when you ask, but it's less common. When you ask, for example, right, do you have any doubts about the contents that all right, about the contents? So to have any doubts is to be not sure about something, okay? But here, to make someone doubt something is going to be directly. When you ask about something that you covered before, you can use about. Okay, and again, in the case of learning a new lesson, you can get to have doubts, right? But you don't say that you get to have doubts it, right? It doesn't make sense. You say you get to have doubts about it. But here you can say that you can make someone doubt something. Okay, so you can have doubts about things, but you can make someone doubt something. Okay, is to distrust something in specific. I don't know if you see the little difference between those two ideas.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Then that's for the first one. In the second one, remember the rule. Here you're breaking a very important rule, okay? And you have to see this, right? Two possibilities here. If you want to put emphasis and say this in past, you have to give me the complete idea. Okay, so I was upset after I saw his reaction. Okay, if you want to give the past to put more emphasis, let's say, if you feel that you need emphasis for that idea happening in the past, say it. But because of the context, we can understand that this is going to be past. But if you don't use a subject in between the preposition and the verb, remember that the rule is that we use gerunds, right? So this is one possibility. And the other one is after seeing, right? Always, after a preposition, you are never going to see a conjugation. All right? So after seeing. And not because seeing is progressive, not because seeing is continuous, right? Not just the form of the verb. Okay, so remember that you have those two options. You need a complete clause, and with complete clause you can use past, yes. But if you're going to use just a preposition and a phrase, always gerund, okay, or a noun, one of those two. And then this is good. Semicolon as a consequence, comma, I decided to turn him down. Yes, great. And this, sorry, I started to gain more knowledge, right? Of course, without the D, because knowledge here is just what happened. It's just a noun, right? And noun is not going to be with E. So to gain more knowledge, and this is great. I saw what you did. Categories in terms of fields, right? Related to mathematics, related to programming, and related to statistics, I believe. But yes, algebra, mathematics, Python, right? Programming, but of course you can use other right programming languages. You can see C, and so on. Than the other one. But only one piece of advice here. This is great. It is sometimes better to justify this comma to use more items. Okay, because again, your logic is not because of the number of items, it is because of the fields, right? They are separated by specific fields of study. I get that, and that's great. But again, to make it more justified again, like what? Tell me.
I can put calculus there.
I don't understand what you're saying in that part. Thanks. Can you put what?
Cálculo.
Yes, calculus. Yes, you can add calculus over there. Here you can add again C, C++, and here you add one more thing. But yes, in the sense of if they are part of the same field, it is going to be more justified if you have more than two items. Why? Because if you only have two, the best option is always going to say only and, right? Algebra and mathematics, comma, Python and programming, comma, and by using right theories and probability, for example. And in that case, you only need to use commas, all right? So again, in order to justify the usage over here of the commas, try to add at least one more, all right? Let's see, yes, one more element in each of these categories so that the comma and the semicolon justify. But again, the logic that you're following is correct. Okay, that's my only thing. The only thing then that you have to do over here, Tanitza, you finish this and you finish the last one. That's going to be for Friday. But that's it. I don't know if you have any questions about these corrections, suggestions, and details. Let me know, please.
No, I don't have questions.
Okay, so remember, please, the task that we got. Yes, and we had one more thing, right, to do. I was forgetting that, and so you didn't do it yet, right?
Yes, no, I did
But
it.
we're going to do it. Ah, yes, you did it. Is this one?
But no, I mean, I did it, but in my Excel because it was more, can I say this? The order was more explicit. I have more possibilities to compare the passive voice with the active voice. But I have questions because you told me to use perfect models.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if I use them here. I can share my screen just a little or for the next
But
class.
yes, let's leave that for Friday, please.
Okay.
Uh-huh. For Friday. So remind me, please. I'm also going to take notes to remember. But the first thing we're going to do on Friday is we're going to check that, all right, the assignment related to passive voice, active voice. You show me the perfect models to see if they are working. Okay. We also check if you have everything here related to the coloring. Remember that these new examples, right, they also have to be with these colors so that we still use, right, the colors for the comma usages. Okay, but that's it. That's basically it. Then on Friday we start with that and we continue working with what we have for Friday. Okay?
Okay.
Good. There you go. So that's it then. And as always, sharing this time two surveys once again to post. This is the daily survey, the daily poll. The first one.
We are in the middle of this module.
Yeah, and this is the satisfaction survey now because this is the fourth class. We're already in right halfway this morning. This is not the one. Sorry. That's not the one. That's from the last class. This is the one. That's the one. Okay, there you go. Now remember, even though we're working on these extra things, we still have to work on Pearson and everything, right? So remember that we have 4 more classes to finish everything. That's going to be the 4 more classes. I believe it's going to finish then on Friday next week. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time. So let's try to cover as much as we can. But that's it then. If you don't have any more questions, thanks for being in today's class, and I'll see you on Friday.
See you Friday. Jose Luis, take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. See you on Friday.
Bye bye.